Okay, well, we're back. We just watched The Weird.
Yes.
It was weird.
It was. I want to start with the new kid who just immediately left.
It was super weird. Lucas?
Yeah. I'm a little annoyed because at first I was
if this is the end, what the fuck?
It's super what the fuck. Because at first I was like, oh, it's her bathtub boyfriend come to life already. And she just didn't know. And then I
believed it was a misdirect. I believe they wanted us to think he was the bathtub boyfriend.
Okay, because then my immediate next thought was, well, he's the weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the Trojan horse that's going to get in there. And then just none of those things. And he was in her dream as the weird. And then he was so freaked out about all of the weird stuff.
Well, and it didn't affect him.
And it didn't affect him at all. Super bizarre.
What was that scene at the beginning, like the 2 days ago, where the monster from Jeepers Creepers was talking to Father Blackwood and company?
I think that ended up being the body that went to the mortuary. That was the Trojan horse.
Okay.
They Trojan horsed it in on the body. And then it went into Sabrina.
So, yeah. I didn't notice this with the first two episodes, but this episode was loaded with aquatic imagery.
It was.
Everywhere you looked, there was like fish or fishing nets or like scuba helmets and stuff. It was very strange. And again, in a way that I didn't notice, like trash everywhere in the previous episode.
Sure.
Like, I wonder if that means anything or if they just had like an overzealous production designer this one episode.
Yeah, I don't know. It was cool though.
So we did not mention Narvi last episode. She
barely worth mentioning now since he's not gonna happen.
She tried to make a boyfriend out of wax with the best qualities of both Nick and Harvey, which I, on the boys' behalf, I was very offended on both
upset
boys'
on their behalf.
Could you imagine if someone, especially like an ex or whatever, is like, I made you without the shitty parts?
Well, I don't suspect she was going to tell either of them.
And they were never gonna run into it? It wasn't going to go rampaging and throw a little girl in a lake because the villagers were chasing it with fire?
Look, there were no bolts in the neck of that wax figure.
Not yet. She hadn't put it back together yet.
True.
But she was growing it in her bathtub. And then at the end of the episode, she like pulled the plug and it was very ominous. So
it did seem ominous. And I think it was too ominous to be about what I said, which is that the wax is really going to clog.
They're going to have plumbing issues for the next two episodes.
It's just going to be a problem.
I mean, that could factor in.
Yeah, it could factor in.
I don't fully understand Caliban's plot.
I don't either. First of all, this is like strictly from a plotting and writing like point of view, but like very convenient that Sabrina and Lucifer are just like out for the weekend. So Caliban's in charge?
Well, it's like I get like not necessarily bringing in Luke Cook, although if you brought him in last week, it's sort of like you brought him in to do that.
So,
but you got Kieran and Shipka, so
and so it's super bizarre that that's the thing, and then immediately there's like it's as if they have
he's plotting for the throne, so like him sitting on the throne, I didn't really have any issue with. No. But I got the sense that he's kind of, I mean, this is a 50 Shades of Grey if ever there were these characters that we're dealing with. But I had gotten the impression that he was more of a good guy.
Okay, that's the thing is like he's another one whose characterization has never actually stuck because it was basically last season whatever we needed in the episode is what he was. And so this has painted him as like even the previous episode when he cut his clay balls off for Sabrina. I mean, that was one thing. That's like within the confines of this show, that's a sweet gesture, you know? And so it's just like, and now it's like,
I wish I had gotten, I could have just been like,
I feel like they had like just closed the door on their father-daughter weekend retreat or whatever. And he was like, yes, murder Lilith and the baby.
Yeah. I just didn't quite realize there was still that dissent within the hierarchy of hell, which I mean, I heard the sentence I just uttered.
Well, but within the confines of the show, it's a little
well, and
weird.
I love how his attempt was to explode Lilith, but it was by by growing her baby too quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you could have just killed her. Like, why did you go about trying to kill? Like, you could have had her miscarry or something. Or like, I mean, I'm not suggesting that they should have done that.
That would be a tough thing, but it also is like.
She full throttles the gestation.
And that's the thing is like, your bones move when you're pregnant in order for you to be able to deliver. And so it's like her body didn't have time to do that. So
I thought they were going to cut it out of her.
I thought so too.
But so she goes to see the witches. They invite her in. It was actually pretty awesome.
It was pretty great.
She goes full blown Angelina Jolie and Alexander. I
was going to say Melisandre too.
Just in my womb. And all the other witches are screaming.
They're taking the pain.
So she didn't feel all of it together. So that's how it didn't kill her. Which, again, I think these are very interesting things. I don't think we said it on our coverage. We were talking about with the uninvited about how what a weird way to take down this villain.
Yeah.
Is to have a girl like trick him into marrying.
Yeah.
I forgot the way Will phrased it, but he phrased it in like, this is supposed to be some heinous big bad, and this is how we're going to get him. And I'm like, to be fair, I don't think anyone's ever tried that before.
Fair enough.
That could be an Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And so that's something that this show is really fun and that we get to explore, not nearly enough, but some, where it's the ways that like a team of women could maybe circumvent or subvert expectations or like, because that's kind of funny where it's like, that should have killed her, and it's like, I never thought about sisterhood. I never thought that would come in.
I never thought about the literal 30 women that were there to take care of her.
Have you noticed the one girl that she's like a background extra or whatever, but she's like always
blondish.
She's always got her light. She's always got the camera.
She was like sticking to Prudence, and she was like glued to Prudence's side in this episode. I saw her.
She's like in the background of every scene, like
yeah. She is Beyonce with that fan. But speaking of Prudence, here's the thing. I'm so sad that this show is ending the way that it is right now.
Do you feel like you're in the middle of an arc?
I feel like I'm in the middle of a Prudence and Roz and what's her name? Mambo Marie. I feel like I'm in the middle of something with the three of them, given that we found out that Roz is sort of a witch, but definitely a seer. I want a Roz and Prudence relationship. And I feel like we're going to get like 3 more scenes and that's going to be it. And it's not going to be satisfying.
Well, they've gone full blown the morning sister, the evening sister, and the midnight sister.
Yeah.
Like they've gone full blown. Yeah. Well, they've been throwing Maiden Mother Crone around left and right, but they're quite literally taking turns watching heavenly bodies.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. And that's something that I've always wanted to give the show a round of applause, which is how they have stretched their minimal budget.
Well, they've also really stretched their mythology.
Yeah.
The way everything that they believe in.
But it's like, so the most obvious comparison is that dynamic is depicted in season 1 of American Gods, and it's cosmic.
Yeah.
It's massive. And this was so much more contained, but I didn't feel like I was being robbed of the experience.
Because whoever they do have as a set designer
it was just globes, but it was pretty, and
and it works again within the confines of the show. I think it's perfect.
So yeah, we did find out that Roz is a witch. We had her grandmother, round of applause, L. Scott Caldwell, come back to confirm that because they were good Christian women, they could never outright say they were witches, but that they are in fact, which I kind of assumed, and I'm glad we sort of went here. I didn't hate having an other.
Yeah. Well, I think she still is an other.
Okay.
She's not a witch like Sabrina's a witch. I think hers is more intuitive.
Well, as far as jokes go, it's sort of a low-hanging joke, but it was nonetheless very funny that Prudence didn't remember Roz.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was putting it on a little, but it was funny.
Sure, probably, but I like that Prudence. It's not like they've suddenly transformed her into a different character.
Right. She
still is very much Prudence, but she's just not heinous the way that she was in like season 1.
Not just like outright bullying Sabrina.
Yeah, she's gotten some material. We're not even halfway through the season, but I agree with you. Knowing that this is the end, I'm like, I just don't think they were writing this like it was the end.
I agree. I agree.
That's gonna suck a little bit. That X-ray thing was cool. That there's no actual science in that, is there?
I don't know.
It was. Do you remember that thing from the 90s where it was that you would go into a room and like pose in front of the screen, and you turned off the lights and did the freeze frame. So they did that with Sabrina and took pictures of the octopus all inside her body.
Yeah. Pretty gross.
Yeah. Really.
But I did like,
especially in her brain. Nah, it's pretty gross in her abdomen.
I did like the utilization of the other witches, the river
Pesta
witch,
and Succulent. What's her name?
Like Sycollax or something.
Sassafras,
something like that. The river witch and the plague witch, essentially.
Sycollax.
That's what I just
Sycorax.
said.
Okay.
Sycollax.
Sycorax.
Rax with an R.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, I liked that. I like that they're utilizing this like bench of characters. I mean, neither one of them had lines, but it was still cool.
Not really. Nick was also there.
Okay. All right. Look, I am well on record that I love Nick Scratch. I think he's great. First of all, what the fuck is he wearing those cuffed jeans for? The cuff is like this big. It's ridiculous. Also, pick a lane, my dude. Do you like Sabrina or not? You are clearly banging Prudence, and he is just like, anything I can do for you, Sabrina. Let me sing.
Well, he pulled
to you.
He pulled. They have the literal river witch there.
Yeah,
and then 2 other witches in the room, and he pulled the "not if I can help it," and I was like, I mean, okay, fine, he's a warlock,
well, and then also,
but I'm like, what are you gonna do?
And also,
wrestle it out of her head?
It was going for like 3 seconds, and he was like, Sabrina, this is ridiculous, and I'm just like, get your panties out of the twist.
They had the tank like a 1/5 of the way full of water.
It's killing her. I'm just like, what are you doing? He's not dead to me, but he is acting ridiculous, and I can't handle it.
He doesn't need to be in this.
In the show?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be. I like him as an element.
I mean, I think if they need him, they should have him, but it was like they promoted him to series regular, and now they don't know what to do with him.
That's fair.
It's unfortunate, but that happens with these, especially sprawling ensembles like this.
I mean, I think also Gavin Leatherwood is like doing his best.
Yeah, he's great.
But it's also
oh no, that was the wedding.
No, but it was amazing. He was just like, check me. And I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm here for it, but you're killing me.
And it was at the does anybody have any objections part of the wedding? Like
no, it was not.
So uncalled for.
Oh man,
I would die for Riley.
Yeah. No, but I just agree that he was totally useless in this episode with his stupid turtleneck and his cuffed pants. Like, what is he trying to? Because at first it was a very James Dean thing, and now he's just pulling from every genre. It's not working for me.
I mean, there's definitely some more things that happen, but I was gonna say the last note I have of like consequence is that Beelzebub survived, but Asmodeus died. The witches were able to they gave them contractions to death.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I'm saying, I'm like, I'm sitting here going, we've never tried this before. Like,
it's true. It's super true.
These are things that no one has. It's like, we've had this all along. And
so I've never had contractions, but I am of the firm belief that most men would fall down and pass out if they had cramps.
It was one of the funniest scenes in television history in Sense8 when Sun has her period and she's like grumpy going about her day, and Leto literally thinks he's dying. It's so funny. I see you, villain.
I'm just saying. I think the world would be a different place if women had the power to do that.
They got the weird or the octopus out, and they put it in another octopus and then froze it. And it was kind of sad, but
a little mean.
Yeah,
they are just keeping all of the terrors.
Yeah,
they just have the dark in a light bulb, and then they have the uninvited in the dollhouse, and now they have the octopus frozen,
which feels temporary.
It does.
It feels like a it can't stay in this state.
And it's also, I mean, it's frozen by magic, so maybe,
Sure.
but it's also in a glass aquarium. I don't know. It's feeling very dicey. I feel like we're gonna have them all in one room, and then it's gonna be all hell breaks loose.
Feels a little. What is this table is as rickety as your underlying concept.
I do feel like we're gonna, at the end, Sabrina is just gonna be like dancing plates, like all over.
She's just running through the
running
house,
back and forth,
smashing things. So I think that's good for now. If we missed anything, we'll probably catch it on the next one. So
all right, cool.
Yeah.